everybody. Let's chat about inflammation. So everybody's heard about it. You may think of inflammation as, what happens when you twist your ankle and it gets swollen, and that is a form of inflammation. You may think of it as allergies, and like your eye got swollen. You may think of it as a reaction, which is kind of like an allergy, obviously, to something you ate, and that does it. Or bloating in your tummy. Could you be having an inflammatory response to food or to an infection? And the truth is, it's all of that. So inflammation is behind most diseases. It is a state in our body where the acute reaction to a trigger, meaning, let's say a bacteria, a virus, a food maybe we weren't supposed to eat, a trauma like twisting your ankle, there is a cascade of events to reverse that trauma or to help get rid of that food or invading pathogen. Or if you cut yourself, what goes in to heal the scar, make you get a scab and then heal the skin. That's normal. The problem with inflammation is where those reactive processes continue, and the body's ability to sense that the risk is gone and turn off the inflammatory response is not happening. And so we see that, unfortunately, more and more every single day. So there are hidden signs because remember, the root cause of weight gain, fatigue, disease in general is this inflammation. And while I just listed a bunch of ways it's noticeable, very often it's not. We don't even think about it. So we may go get our blood work done and have a high C-reactive protein or other markers of inflammation in the blood work. We may be having that belly fat or fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, bloating, gut issues, all of those, skin problems, anxiety, they're all related to an unchecked inflammatory response. So how do we, if we're suspicious that we have inflammation going on, which again, most people do, what you can do, number one, is always take a functional medicine approach to try to search for the cause. Very often it is environmental toxins. So what can you do in your home environment? Like check out ewg.org so that you're buying products that are cleaner. Start looking for ways to detoxify what's already in your body, toxin load that could be causing the inflammatory reaction. It's very exciting in medicine now because there are more and more ways to get these things out. So my favorite is sauna, and you've got to be careful on the type of sauna. I'm happy to share in questions about that. Sauna can allow you to sweat out a lot of these heavy metals or chemicals that are triggering this persistent hidden inflammation. And now that we understand the concern over plastics, which are really a massive problem in hidden inflammation, there are new therapies coming out like tissue plasma exchange. Stay tuned for more there, where you literally do plasmapheresis, remove blood from your body, goes through a device, a machine that can remove these chemicals, go back in. That's going to be one of the best ways to cut down hidden inflammation. And hopefully over time, the cost will come down. It's still quite expensive. Clearly the diet, and I'm very excited that we are now getting more attention in the government, in the public eye, on what's being put in our foods. So when we have foods in this country, even foods like junk food, right? You may have seen trending things about like what Gatorade was like when it first came out versus what it is now. So all those chemicals that the food companies have used to enhance shelf life or flavor or get people addicted, let's be real, those trigger chronic inflammation, which keeps you sick, which keeps you buying drugs and keeps you buying the food that you're hungry for because you're inflamed. So don't fall prey to that. Start really paying attention to what you're doing, what you're eating. Get more natural, eat more at home instead of grabbing and go, because remember, those are on purpose trying to keep you inflamed. Working on your blood sugar. So when your body is stressed, cortisol goes high, blood sugar goes high. When that happens, you're inflamed. So how can you work on stress, especially stress and sleep and its impact on sleep? Most of our ability to manage inflammation, so to go in and get that balance back in our immune system, to turn off our hyper-inflammatory reactions, a lot of that occurs during sleep. And if we're not getting restorative sleep, we're not getting those breaks that stop a runaway inflammatory reaction. So working on your sleep, working on your stress levels. There are a lot of new devices, for example, or programs that you can do to try to find even some of these triggers that may be subconscious. I'm always fascinated by people's stories. When they sit down with me as a new patient, that's one of the first things I do is I understand where they're coming from. Where were massive stressors in their lives? Where did they get triggered? How can we get these loops that are subconscious survival under control? Because that can trigger hidden inflammation and make it almost impossible to heal. So something else that you want to consider diving into. May not be sort of the fun, sexy things that you think of with cold plunge, but it may be the primary issue behind your inflammatory response. Exercising, really, the biggest thing I can say about this is I see the entire spectrum. So many people overdoing it, pushing CrossFit or HIIT or going when they don't feel well. So guys, really, again, tap into your sovereignty. Sometimes things like the Aura Ring can be really helpful here. Did you have a recovering sleep, a restorative sleep? Great. If so, maybe you want to push it. If not, maybe you need to just do breathing. Maybe you need to lay on the floor, connect to the earth. Maybe you should start a restorative yoga practice. That's where the inflammation will be handled, not what you think you're supposed to do at the gym. So I hope that was helpful. Some understanding that we need to search for the cause, some tips for how to balance inflammation, and stay tuned as always for more. Thanks for joining me, guys.